I don't think people realize how bad this just got. Nam nujnat voya pomesh. Niman bang woman ma. Musa tatuna. Today it was announced that the United States of America, 110%, had made a mistake. And the mistake that we had made was on a Venezuelan ship that we had bombed a couple of days ago. That Venezuelan ship today was confirmed to not be Venezuelan at all. In fact, the president, El Presidente Pedro, came out and said out of his own mouth today that was a Colombian ship with Colombian citizens that were not carrying schmugs. Do you know what we responded and said? We cut off all communications with Venezuela, ya tú sabes. Y después, cuando él dije, el presidente de Colombia dice eso, we said, we need him to take back and redact his senseless and useless claims. I.e. saying that we claim that Colombia was lying. Él es un mentiroso. Nosotros tenemos un problema. If you remember the Cuban Missile Crisis, the one that currently the United States of America said Cuba was currently trying to work with Russia and unalive us, yeah, check up Operation Northwood. Operation Northwood was an operation where the CIA was going to ask JF Kennedy if they can currently bomb Florida to currently enact a war and say it was Cuba. Saying and claiming that Cuba had Russian missiles by a U-2 plane that found it in the area. That's why we built our nukes by Turkey. And that's why Turkey is the only Middle Eastern country in NATO, because they are right next to Russia. Well, for anybody and everybody that missed it, John F. Kennedy said no, obviously. And we never went to war. We were still using the same claim as the war on schmugs, because that started damn near in the 60s, the 70s, but it was really oil. Now you're probably like, Chewbacca, what does this all mean? It means that the United States of America is basically entering into a war with the entire Caribbean. And the reason why I can sit here and say that is because we're already in Haiti. We're already in Puerto Rico. Ya lo decimos a la otra país en el pasado, ya tú sabes que eso. Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Guadalupe, ya tú sabes. México y también. En serio. Germany came out of nowhere and said that they were going to start striking down the Russian drones. Da loschet Hilfe. After Russia came out of nowhere and said, if you struck down our drones, we're going to see that as an act of war. Baby, I'm telling you right now to prepare them bug-out bags. I'm going to tell you yesterday because we actually have no idea what the fuck is going on. They voted yesterday to try to block Donald Trump from being able to use his wartime powers, and they voted for him to use it. So as Americans now, we have to prepare for what our country is not telling us to prepare for. But they are saying it out loud by changing the Department of Defense to Department of War. Didn't he say if we go to war, there would be no elections? And didn't he just invade Chicago by sending Texas National Guard against the will of the governor? Isn't that what happened with Abraham Lincoln? This has to be the fucking Twilight Zone. Please tell me why that Pete Hegseth said today that the Qataris will be able to build a military base in Idaho with troops? Baby, name one motherfucking country that got a military base in the United States right now. Right now! You can't. We don't have any. Out of 800 motherfucking military bases in 70 fucking countries, we sit here allowing motherfuckers in now, as if we're not predicted to crash next year. Didn't Israel just hit Doha? Halas, Sliha, Rega, Lalatov. For anybody and everybody that missed it, oh, that's the biggest red flag you're gonna get all year. We don't have military bases in here because we attack every fucking country. Fucking Letitia James currently is being indicted for fraud because she currently challenged Trump and got that motherfucker 34 counts of felonies. After James Comey. So man just going after everybody that pissed him the fuck off. There was another Russian incursion in the Baltics. Germany sitting here and saying, I'm gonna shoot every single one of them down. Germany, why? Russia said, Harasho, do it. Hágalo, bitch. Get this. Get this. The last boat that we struck, it wasn't Venezuelan. It wasn't de Venezuela. It was from Colombia. And we already put that man on a banned visa list less than 2 weeks ago. Nah. Big boy Toupee sat here and said anybody that burned a flag in a year in prison. In prison? He said also everybody who incites violence or incites a riot. Is a riot a protest? Am I inciting a riot because I'm doing a protest under my First Amendment right? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of protest, freedom of petition, freedom of the government. Stop going to these protests unarmed. ICE is sitting here dragging people by their fucking hair. What is this? Gestapo. The government shutdown gonna extend it again until next week, meaning everybody not gonna get paid on the 15th, baby. Everybody not gonna get paid on the 15th. I'm sorry, military. And on top of that, for some reason, they can't keep a fucking secret. Donald Trump wrote to Pam Bondi on fucking True Social like it was nothing, like it wasn't encrypted or anything. And man said, I want you to go after all of my opponents. Pam said, yes, darling. Pam, didn't you work for him before you was the AG? Alright. Now, we'll see if that ceasefire deal go in with Gaza and Israel, okay? Assalamu alaikum. Israel talking about they were moving troops, but we gotta make sure y'all not sending any more blasts. Anyways, obviously with all the bullshit that's going on right now, you know my prepper treats are coming up. Yeah, bitch! Where we teach you how to rock climb, swim, kickbox, and everything else in between, including shoot a gun. Cause why the fuck would I wait for them to get to our door? That's not the fucking point. We're gonna teach you all of your constitutional rights, all 27 of them, how to buy and purchase property, how to make sure that your credit score is going everywhere in the direction that it needs to go, and how to currently make sure that you're self-sustainable. Outside of that, contingent on where you're at, you're either gonna be snowboarding or surfing, horseback riding, rock climbing, and swimming, going on tours and taking the opportunity of using a bug-out bag and being trained by the U.S. military that voluntarily is training the people to make sure they can fight back, bitch. And that's everything else in between. And you know we got bug-out bags, so go order yours. Bye. Nah, we missed the playing field. Because what the fuck was going on in Mississippi? Why did the DeSoto County Sheriff get on national television and tell everybody that he's moving state Mississippi prisoners to another facility to make room just in case ICE and the National Guard decides to commit crime in his city? He said on his terms, ain't nobody coming here to commit no crimes. And all people are going to be protected and are on high alert. And I quote, if you come into DeSoto County to commit a crime, you will be arrested, your vehicle will be towed, and you will go to jail. Period. Tuggle said. End of quote. Now, why the fuck would the southern states be preparing for National Guard members to... Hey, now, back up. Do y'all remember the 19 states that Donald Trump said that he was going to be targeting? Do you remember if they were southern states? Because I'm pretty sure I do. And after he mentioned those 19 states, he went into 6 other states that he was not going into. LA, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Portland, Memphis, and Detroit. But the southern states are getting prepared. And I don't mean like lightly. I mean, they've been getting prepared for about a week and a half. So yeah, this is... Maybe I think we just is entering in the brink of war.
Do you see that hundreds of agents raided an apartment complex in Chicago in the middle of the night, taking children out naked and detaining black U.S. citizens? This happened around 1 a.m. at a large apartment complex in the South Shore neighborhood of Chicago. Over 300 agents from ICE, FBI, ATF, and other agents showed up to the apartment complex. They came with helicopters, some people saying they saw Black Hawk helicopters, and it seems like they also came hidden in budget and U-Haul trucks. Officials from the government said that they did this because they were looking for 6 high-priority targets, including suspected members of Tren de Aragua, even though they never showed a warrant while they were there, and they have not confirmed if they actually detained anyone that is a member of Tren de Aragua. Agents went into nearly all of the 100 apartments that were in the complex. They were busting down doors and dragging people out of their beds. There are reports of kids being zip-tied and being taken out buck naked. Black residents who are U.S. citizens also said that they were dragged out of their apartments. They were held at gunpoint, asked to give their name, date of birth, and asked if they had any warrant. They also separated people, black people in one van and immigrants in the other van. Reports say that between 30 to 40 people were disappeared that night. Activists are trying to figure out who were the people that were disappeared since the government is not giving any information on the individuals. This raid should be a reminder that they're coming for all of us. Look, white supremacists have done a great job of separating the black and Latino community, especially during the last election. They separated us so then they can come and hunt us down. They don't care about any of us because of the color of our skin. And to any white people seeing this and say, not my problem, remember Donald Trump just said that U.S. cities should be training grounds for the military. And they're starting, as always, with black and brown bodies. They're moving to everyone next, white people included. I'm sorry this is happening to our communities, but we need to stick together. Like I've always said, we are stronger together. This is still very much a developing story, so I'll continue bringing information as it comes in.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me did I have any warrants, and I told them no, I didn't.
She says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says she was told if anyone had any kind of warrant out for them, even if it was unrelated to immigration, they would not be released. Citizen video shows the chaotic scene overnight. Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents. Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human? One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
Watson says budget trucks and military-style vans were used to separate parents from their children. Other neighbors say they saw agents destroying property to get in the building.
And they had a big 15-inch chainsaw with a round blade on it cutting this fence down. We're under siege. We're being invaded by our own military.
The FBI did confirm this morning that they did help the U.S. Border Patrol carry out a targeted immigration enforcement operation in this area, and they say they have been supporting these efforts at the direction of the U.S. Attorney General.
A Qatar military base in Idaho. I'm just trying to figure out, what did they possibly give you for you to allow that to happen? Whole life, Middle East is bad. We can't allow nothing in the Middle East. Let's deport everybody. We don't want no immigrants here. Now all of a sudden you're like, oh, Qatar, y'all want a military base in our country? Hey, my nigga, come on over. You gave me a jet. What the fuck? What do you need? I got it. Idaho, right there in the Calais Parade side. I'm building a ballroom. You could build a military base. It's just like, I mean, how is this America first? You got Charlie rolling his grave because his wife was like, hey, we should have our own Super Bowl halftime performance. Is any football going to be played? No, but there's Bad Bunny and he's Puerto Rican. But wait, that means he's American. Fuck that. He be speaking Spanish. We going to have our own halftime show. I mean, you guys will do numbers because there's going to be people that are hate watching. There's going to be obviously the Klan. They're going to tune in. There's going to be people like me. They're like, how ass could this shit possibly be? I'm going to turn my channel. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Not only do you have a WWE memorial service, and now you guys do a bullshit halftime performance. I just know Charlie, whether he looking up, looking down, is disappointed. Since they can't release the files that we actually care about, they keep on releasing these files. And this time, another boat blown up with, I don't even know what type of Mephistophelian-ass weapon that is. That's like a shotgun shell, but missiles. And who's on this boat? Yeah, this time it wasn't even a Venezuelan drug smuggling boat. It was a Colombian boat with citizens on it. And of course, you're going to sit there and be like, they lying. We know it's a drug boat. Boom. Had to go. March Vera, you guessed it, death. Well, I mean, the president of the other country is like, you just blew up our citizens for no reason and then went and bragged and tried to say it was a drug boat. Do we not realize that these motherfuckers are incompetent? Or are you just going to be like, no, I trust them with no proof. Just a video of them blowing people up. I'm just saying, bro, we are headed in a fucking unbelievable pathway. It's like a speed run into dictatorship, fascism, and our country gonna be fucked. Of course, it's your daily reminder of our greatest ally and the Holocaust 2.0 that they are carrying out. I mean, this was a city, and now this is what it looks like. And you mean, I guess Hamas is there, or you're trying to ethnically cleanse them.
Islam, shalom, hola, aloha, bonjour, osio, assalamu alaikum, konnichiwa. It's your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor, coming to you live in full effect. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell down below so you can be notified whenever I'm dropping some new content. Leave a comment, interact with me. Thank you. I really do appreciate your viewership. Let's jump into another one. You know what it is, back at it again. Another episode of Strange Events, Current Events. Hey, it's always a lot going on. I just want to touch base with you. Hopefully you enjoyed those clips at the beginning, and I might show some at the end to, lay the groundwork, let you know exactly what I'm thinking about and what I'm trying to inform you about. So, let's see, start off with how the U.S. caused the international international incident by accidentally striking a vessel that they thought was a Venezuelan drug smuggling ship, allegedly. That's what the claim is. But it was a Colombian, I believe, a fishing vessel that had civilians on there. So, that doesn't make the government look very good, in the international eyes. So that's something might potentially have to be paying for, on the international stage. Along with that, there is a base, the video, the clips at the beginning was saying how there's going to be a base in Idaho, a Qatar base. I believe it's like an air base facility. So that's something new. The first foreign base that's ever going to be on U.S. soil, I believe. But there are other foreign interests that are actually operating within the country already, like German, of course, Israeli, Canadian, a few other international, I guess, international military operations that are actually operating within the country as we speak already. So it's kind of odd, but you know, there's parts of countries like in Chicago, their entire parking system, meter maids and stuff is actually owned by like Saudi Arabia, a company over there. So they're controlling all the finances done with parking enforcement for that entire state for the next 40 years or so. And then, Saudi Arabia has also just purchased the WWE, right? World Wrestling Federation, entertainment. That whole industry is actually going to be owned by them now, so that's kind of odd. There's also going to be joint training. There's joint training going on with the Korean forces in California. So, there's a lot of international movement going around. Could be alarms, like a silent alarm for an international conflict or even an internal conflict, right? Remember how I mentioned they were doing those door-to-door tactics, military forces type style raids, right? In Chicago, it's already going on. It went from DC to Chicago. I believe the stuff is going on in Oregon. There's almost like a civil unrest going on in Oregon, dealing with the police department and ICE and the National Guard, things like that. It's not even being really covered by like mainstream news. It's almost like a media blackout over there. So look into that if you're unaware or uninformed. Like I say, the National Guard and ICE are doing the door-to-door operations in Chicago. There's already been plenty of clips going around online showing how children have been detained, U.S. citizens have been detained, people like immigrants or migrants being separated into one area, U.S. citizens being separated into another area, and they're pulling up in unmarked automobiles and like storage and moving trucks, things like that. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your eyes open. Who knows how far this is going to be going, how far this is going to reach, how long this is going to be going on. That is kind of like hush hush, because everything really isn't being televised and broadcast, right? So you kind of can get snippets of what's going on online, of people who are actually on the ground, who are actually there, who can see what's really going on, face to face and in person. Also, recently over the over the weekend, all this news about the crypto market going down from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the crypto crash. So there was even reports of people taking their lives or something like that. People, self-deleting, expiring due to, the stress or just the loss of the heavy financial loss and the toll that it's taken. People losing upwards to 40K within a few hours, people taking very, very heavy financial hits, and some people just can't cope with it, in this new age, this fast-paced market. These digital markets are heavily manipulated, right? They're heavily manipulated. We've seen it before during the whole COVID thing, when the whole GameStop bubble happened, right? When the GameStop was going up, AMC and all that stuff was going on. How they started freezing transactions. They were making sure no transactions were going through for anybody in order to make sure the people, they didn't want to make financial gains, didn't make those financial gains by rigging all of these systems, all of these applications that people like to use. Some of the top most popular applications that people are using to make trades and bets, dealing with stocks and cryptos. They're manipulating those markets. So there has been a lot of dumps that were going on ahead of time, and then the markets just started crashing. So it's like a lot of the big players seem to have insider information, right? It's a lot going on about this insider trading that's been going on with the Senate and Congress. These people who are placed in these positions of power, who just seem to be enriching themselves, while the common man is just falling by the wayside, getting more and more impoverished and taxed into oblivion. Besides that, reports are out that the U.S. currency this year alone has already lost like 10% of its buying power, right? And that's due to the BRICS coin, the BRICS currency going up. A lot of the movements Africa's doing by putting natural resources and gold, back behind the currency. So, it can really only get worse. A lot of people are saying the economy could mirror what happened in Venezuela just a few years ago. People were, burning currency in the streets. It was just flying out like it was just, pieces of paper just flying in the wind. But our economy is not really based on that much paper currency, so we're not going to see as much. But if you start to see, I know this is an episode of Blood and Gold, but if the banks start to close, or these financial institutions stop allowing you to take currency out, they start giving you these bull BS lines about how the systems are down or something like that, and that's everywhere. Let you know you only have maybe 48 hours to get your bug out bag and make a move. I would say get out of the cities, get out of the major cities for sure. But I don't want to fearmonger, But yeah, on a lighter note, more of an entertainment note. But before I close this out, let me know how I'm doing down below. Like, share, and subscribe. They're saying that there's a fleet, a space fleet, all right? So if you check the online cameras, the NASA online cameras and things like that, that allegedly have these photos, satellite imagery of apparently these anomalies that have shown up in the space over Earth. So it's all speculation, but allegedly on these satellite images, they're showing a massive swarm of ships. They're saying it's a fleet. They're saying that it cannot be a natural occurrence. It's not like a meteor swarm or meteor shower or asteroid field or something like that that's coming toward the planet. They're saying that the way that these objects are moving through this satellite imagery, that they seem to have some kind of sentience to them. So, that's more on a lighter note. There's always more to be aware of, more to be seen. Keep your ears to the ground, keep your feathers up. Once again, this is your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous America More. Peace.
So y'all heard about that guy who found that alien and has it in his house? No, not the guy with the black goo alien. I'll do an update on him soon. And no, not the Boogosphere. This is a completely different guy. That's right, we have another hero. But instead of a sphere, this one's more like a rod cone type of thing. It also has writing on it that's just like the Boogosphere. I mean, check out this video and tell me if it's real. As you can see, he has it in this basement, and every time he goes to record it, the lights start to really flicker. And this is really weird. He puts this radio frequency next to it, and it starts to shake like it wants to get out of there, and tries to do some tests with it. So far he's found out it's just like that alien. It burns plants, the stand that it's on, and him.
What the Why is it over here?
Needless to say, it's doing a lot of strange behavior. Also, the symbols on it really do look like 3-Eye Atlas. The words that are written on it also look like 2 comets approaching a sun. So we got another hero, y'all. Somebody who came through, saw a UFO, and went and snagged it for themselves, put it in a basement. This is exclusive breaking news. So if you go to his YouTube channel, he doesn't have that many followers, and follow him and ask questions and see if this is real. It's looking like some alien force really wants us to find all of these alien drones and even aliens right now. We really got to appreciate them all doing it for the culture, you know. It's becoming harder to deny what's happening now. And I promise I have nothing to do with any of this. I'm just sharing this information. Now, I have my theories on this. What do you think it is? Are we being invaded?
Today, I found out that America's largest employer, Walmart, will be going on a 3-year hiring freeze while it develops its AI systems. Despite what legacy media would have you believe, those of us with eyes to see can clearly tell that there's something very sinister going on in the U.S. economy. And with America's largest employer going on a hiring freeze to pour all their resources into AI, which I don't think, again, will completely eliminate roles, but I definitely feel like what will happen is there will be less available roles. And we're seeing that happen across companies. Right now, companies are revealing that they're broke. And so they're just shaving as many people as they can. They're just trying to go down to skeleton crew. And they're putting all their money into developing technology. And I feel like after that, once they kind of develop AI and how it'll work with how to get the job done, that's when we will see people come back to work. But because they will have more, again, technological development, there will just be less roles available. This makes me think of what Deontay Cowell said years ago when he said, in the future, it'll be a privilege to work. And that is very true because we're seeing that now. Also, globalization is kicking our ass. So AI, globalization is not looking good. Also, let's not forget, a couple months back, they did tell us that there were more people looking for work than there was work that was available. People having a hard time selling their home, people not shopping, credit card debt going up, repossessions going up, foreclosures going up, people pulling out these new build contracts. Y'all know what it is. If people can't move these cars on these lots, you know what it is. Let's talk in the comments. How do y'all feel about this? Walmart, I read, going on a 3-year hiring freeze. Let's talk.
What the fuck just happened? Over 2,000 crypto traders dead after yesterday's market crash. Constant Galish found dead in his Lamborghini yesterday after a historic market crash. Guys, crypto is not that serious. Yesterday it was like every moment I refreshed, I lost $1,000. Solana went from 220 to 178. XRP, the coin that everybody salivates over, went down 70%. Imagine seeing 70% of your net worth vanish in 2 hours. But fortunately, now things are stabilizing out just a little bit. And surprisingly, the United States crypto reserve coin is still doing good. So yes, right now I am temporarily down, but I'm not as down because I've been holding USCR. But we'll be back in no time. This is a great time to buy, and please do not end your life over crypto.